Now on 7 News, let the madness begin as Greenville stakes its claim as the basketball capital of the South. We're hours away from opening tip-off between the Gamecocks and the Aggies.
Just a different type of beast when you come in the SEC conference, and we're just super excited.
We've got live coverage from the Well for this year's SEC Women's Tournament. It's all now on 7 News. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. It's March the 8th. 7 o'clock's the time. I'm Olivia Parsons. College basketball is taking over Greenville this week. 7 News' Fred Cunningham, Christine Scarpelli joined us live at the Well for the SC Women's Tournament. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Olivia. It's a big day here. Obviously, day 3 of the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament, but it is day 1 for the Gamecocks on the floor. The #1 team in the country, undefeated for their second straight regular season. They take on Texas A&M at noon.
They just have a ring to it, Fred. They're just #1 in the country. Oh, man, that sounds pretty good. As somebody who went there, it's exciting, but also the fans piling into Greenville, going to hotels, many of them almost full. They say restaurants. We were at Scoundrel in downtown Greenville the other day saying they can't wait to have all those fans excited, hopefully, in their seats.
That's right, because, of course, South Carolina not only going for their 8th SEC championship in the last 10 years, obviously thinking down the road for a 3rd national championship under Dawn Staley.
Wow, yeah, Coach is excited to be so close to home. They say Greenville always rolls out the red carpet for him. We were talking about that a few minutes ago, and just happy to be able to focus once they get to town. That they don't have a really long trip. You know, they're able to come and maybe hopefully have some decent weather. Oh,
I think we got a great start, at least for this Friday. Let's check in with 7 News meteorologist Malachi Rogers.
Well, it's a good start to our Friday morning, 7:01, guys. We are looking at temperatures in the 50s and 40s across the upstate, western North Carolina. A little bit of sunshine, but we're mostly cloudy to start the morning out in that blanket of clouds, keeping temperatures on the milder side this morning. We're watching some light showers northeast Georgia that will try to move in through midday, early afternoon. But right now, it's just quiet and cloudy over Spartanburg and Greenville. You see that layer of clouds over the city. We are going to see mostly cloudy weather today. A cooler day than yesterday. Highs today only in the 60s. We keep clouds in place. Showers around in the mountains as well with temperatures in the upper 50s. That's a look at Friday weather. Let's get a look at our Friday morning traffic.
Malachi, thank you. Headed out the door at 7:02. A check of our travels this morning on your roadways. If you are taking I-85 north of I-385, we're in good shape once you get to this point, but getting there from Simpsonville might be hard for you. We've got lanes blocked because of a crash as you approach mile marker 29, and we're backed up past mile marker 26. And that's because crews have those lanes blocked off. So just a heads up, drivers making your way along the interstate and the roadways, anticipate a good bit of congestion. Maybe consider an alternate route for your commute, like along 101. Fans have traveled hundreds of miles to cheer on their favorite teams in the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. But what does the madness of March mean to the city of Greenville? We'll send it back now to 7 News' Fred Cunningham. He's live at the Well with more. Fred.
Good morning, Olivia. You know, March Madness has become part of spring in Greenville, from the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament to the NCAA men's and women's early round games being played here in recent years. Greenville is calling itself the basketball capital of the South. Setup work started early this week outside Bon Secours Wellness Arena, but the game plan is usually the same. Greenville is in year 2 of a 3-year deal to host the best in SEC women's basketball.
We have now proven for a number of years that when we host basketball events here at the Well and in the Greenville community, that fans show up, teams show up, their supporters show up, and that we're able to execute a really memorable event for everybody involved.
And it pays off big for the city.
We expect over the 5-day period of the tournament for visitors to spend a little under $11 million directly. That's the spending right out of the visitors' pockets and into our hotels and restaurants and shops and taxis and parking and all the other things that they do. The overall economic impact is about $16 million for the week.
And lots of those fans will come from 100 miles away in Columbia. USC led the nation in women's basketball attendance again this year, averaging nearly 16,500 a game.
The number one thing that we can do as a community is to continue to show up and support. It's helpful to have the #1 undefeated Lady Gamecocks right down the road.
and Greenville is hungry for more.
We want the SEC women's basketball here in Greenville and to call it home forever. We're starting to have those conversations as what will it take to get them here for long term.
Now, Greenville hosted the NCAA women's basketball tournament here 1 year ago. The men played here in 2017, 2022, and will be back here again in 2026. Now, Keith Dillard tells me that the NCAA has already opened bids for the 2027 and 28 games, and Greenville's in the hunt there. He thinks that we'll find out perhaps if March Madness will be returning to the upstate by the end of this year. Now let's talk about the Gamecocks. They are on the floor for the first time. It's a noon tip-off as they take on Texas A&M. And, of course, they've got a third national championship on their minds as well. USC has holdovers from last year's Final Four squad who've expanded their roles while adding key newcomers. Staley told us how this wide variety of personalities have meshed to create another undefeated regular season.
When it's who they are, it's who they are. You can't really fight who people are. You just got to figure out how you can actually integrate what they're going to give us.
South Carolina has been dominant on both ends of the floor, ranking third in the nation in offense, scoring 87 points a game, and lead the SEC in defense, allowing 55 on the other end. Christine.
Oh, Fred, very exciting. Love hearing those statistics, especially ahead of a big game just hours away. It is beautiful this morning and looking good as well. Jared Evans with us this morning, Chief Experience Officer with the Gamecock Alumni Association. I was talking just a few minutes ago, if there's some Gamecocks watching this morning and they're looking for a place where they can find some camaraderie, maybe before or after the game, good place to go was Fire Forge?
Fire Forge Crafted Beer. That's right. We'll be there after the game today and then 2.5 hours prior to tip-off on Saturday and Sunday.
Going there, you can learn a little bit more about being a part of the Alumni Association, maybe even the Gamecock Club.
Absolutely.
What's the plus there? What is something that might be helpful to both you and other Gamecocks, maybe giving back, being a member?
Yeah, I mean, really one of our biggest missions is scholarships. So we award more than 230 scholarships every single year. And that wouldn't be possible without the support of so many incredible alumni who came through USC and they want to give back, and not just financially with their time. You know, mentorship, professional development, career outcomes is a big priority for us and a big mission, and they support us that way, and they support the current and future students as well.
That's good to know. I think just knowing that, even if you're not a Gamecock fan, if you're not a Gamecock, being a part of another team, giving back through the Alumni Association is really interesting. You might even be able to support an athlete or two. You can be out here cheering them on today. In just a couple of hours, we'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Christine. We look forward to it, and all those details at WSPA.com. You can watch all of the tournament action on the SEC Network. 7 News will have more live coverage from the well this morning and all throughout the day, starting at noon when the Gamecocks take on Texas A&M. Next on 7 News, a near decade-long murder investigation in the upstate ends with a guilty plea. We hear from the person responsible, who claims he did it out of self-defense.